Hey guys, this is Bobby with One More Fitness. And I'm going to go over macros. Okay, I did a little macro nutrition lesson at my gym. Yeah, I taped it, but a lot of it I feel is like not need to know information. And what I mean by that is that you kind of go over with like macronutrients. Sometimes you go over like what protein does and fats does and carbs do. And I want to just make a quick video, so I know everyone's busy, and sometimes a 20-minute video is very hard to go over. So I want to just give you like what's important for macronutrients. Now, if you don't know what a macronutrient is, it's basically what calories are made of. So anytime you eat anything, it has calories, right? And it's usually full of protein or carbs or fat. So sometimes there's a combination here. So I just kind of want to go over what that is and maybe how you might adjust that to get better results in your life. So a protein. Proteins are going to help you build muscle, repair tissue, especially because your body is always breaking down tissue. So protein is extremely important, okay? And you want to have that with each meal, okay? If you're tracking your calories and you want to track your proteins, I would go try to get 0.7 to a gram per body weight of protein, okay? And also one more thing that's very beneficial if you're trying to lose weight is digesting and breaking down protein takes a lot of energy, especially if it's coming from unprocessed foods. So a chicken versus a protein shake, you're gonna burn more calories digesting that chicken. The second thing is carbohydrates, and carbohydrates get a real bad rep for being unhealthy, for being basically being the reason why people gain weight. But if you look at like athletes and even the bodybuilding population, they have a very high carb diet, and they're probably some of the leanest people in the world. So it's not really the carbs that really get people, but when you think carbs are basically our energy, okay? It's a preferred source of energy for intense stuff. So if you're very sedentary and you eat a lot of carbs, especially the processed ones, like it's probably gonna spill out. And you're probably gonna gain some weight from that. So a couple ways that you want to approach carbohydrates is, track your food to see where you are. How many carbs do you have? How many sugars, starches. And when I say starch, I think of things like rice, potatoes, stuff like that, oatmeal. So the first thing is being like, do you actually eat a lot of carbs? Now, if you eat a lot of carbs and you're trying to lose weight and you're not losing weight, right? The first way I would approach this is like, how can I improve the quality of my carbs instead of cutting all my carbs out? So if I usually have stuff like candy bars and sweets and lots of sugar in my coffee and like white bread, okay? Instead of just cutting it all at once, take a few items a day, or maybe just one, and just improve and just make an unprocessed choice. So instead of having a candy bar in the middle of the day, try having an apple, okay? And if you're satisfied with the apple, just don't eat after that. But if you really want the candy bar, have that. So the whole goal here is just see if how you do by replacing carbs. So instead of having pasta for dinner, maybe you're gonna have some rice, or you're gonna have a sweet potato, or a regular potato. And then the second thing that you could do, so if that produces results, if improving the types of carbohydrates produce results, what you would do is you wouldn't change anything because you're getting results. And you're eating more carbs. Now, if you're still having trouble, what you could possibly do is cut carbs out, okay? Or reduce them. I don't mean to cut them out. So if you have like carbs with every meal, so breakfast you have a lot of sugar with your coffee, lunch you always have a sandwich, for dinner you always have things like a rice, potatoes, just maybe one of those for a couple weeks, just cut them out. So maybe it's your sugar in your coffee, or maybe it's like instead of having sandwiches so much for lunch, you're gonna put them in, put them over salads and greens. Or maybe for dinner, a couple times a week, you cut out the carbs with dinner and you just have like more protein and vegetables. And usually if you do that approach, you usually get a little better results. Because especially if you're exercising intensely, you don't want to cut carbs out because your performance is going to go down. You're going to lose muscle, and long term, it's going to mess up your metabolism. And the last macronutrient I'll talk about is fat, which is super important for a lot of hormonal regulations and hormonal health. So sometimes if you cut fat too much, it can really kind of slow down your metabolism, especially if you're a female. So you want fats in, but just kind of like carbs, the reason why fats get a bad name is because people have very unprocessed carbs. So people are eating things like margarine and vegetable oil, and they're eating those like prepackaged food, which has a lot of these like trans fats and processed fats in that. And if you just focus on healthier fats, more natural fats, you would probably get better results. So a couple things with fats. So fats are very high in calories. So like the first thing I would do is see how many fats you're having by logging your food, and then have a more accurate serving size. So if you just kind of dumping oil in the pan when you cook, stop measuring out. And then from there, just try to, if you're still not getting results, again, what you can do is reduce it a little bit. So if you always do like 2 tablespoons to cook dinner with, or you always have like a whole avocado like most days, or like you have like a cup of nuts, all right? Just try cutting that a little bit. So maybe you have a quarter cup of nuts a day. You don't have avocados every day, or when you do, you might have a half of one. When you cook, instead of using tablespoons of oil at a time, you might use a teaspoon oil. And just small things like that, because you want that healthy fat in your diet. But the reason why it gets a bad rap, because it has so many calories in it, it's very easy to overeat. And so if you kind of focus on those three things, you probably get good results with your macronutrients. Now, I like systematic approaches. So the first thing that I would probably address is protein. Are you having enough protein? Are you eating proteins with each meal? Are you having unprocessed proteins? And once you get good at that, I would make sure that you're having healthy fats with most meals and that you're not overdoing it. And then the third thing I would do is focus on what are the carbohydrates, sugars that I'm having on a regular basis, okay? And then focus on improving that to a unprocessed version of that, all right? So if you have a candy bar, try having an apple. So if you're having lots of breads, maybe you're going to substitute that with some rice or like a small potato. And then after that, if you still feel like you need to, then you might reduce your carbs a little bit. If that's on a daily basis, or maybe you just reduce the carb on a couple days a week, right? So those are like these are some guidelines with macronutrients. If you guys have any questions on this, again, be sure to reach out. We'll be glad to help.